Welcome back, everyone. Well, we're in the woods today, walking a long path, going to explore some of the damage the Derico did. And it feels like the long path Royce and I have been on for his Blastomycosis journey, so I wanted to give you guys an update on that today. As his little spring haircut, I just took the clippers to him today. Poor thing was so hot. It's a beautiful day today. It's about 24 degrees, not too humid and hot. Just perfect to go out on a hike. Got water with us because holy moly, I wouldn't want to be without it today. Even though it's 24, it's still warm out once you get walking. So as I'm starting in on the trail, you can see just the kind of damage done in here. These big storms that came through this area tore down a bunch of trees. The same storm that actually hit the cabin a few hundred kilometers away. Oh boy. Summer been working away at cleaning up the mess at the cabin, mainly just the trail areas. There's no point in really doing any of the deeper woods. That'll take care of itself. All the fungi eventually will rot things down, and I won't have to worry about any of that stuff. But just my trails I've got to fix. So I've been steadily working away at that and getting back on track. Speaking of getting back on track, so last I updated you with Royce's condition in a video was, geez, about 6 months ago, I think. Yeah, 6 months ago. It was back in January I posted that video. And just to recap, for those of you who don't know, Royce, my dog, my little bush companion, picked up a really deadly fungal disease, probably by the cabin, digging in the dirt, hanging out in the woods, called Blastomycosis. So it is a really, really serious fungi, that you can catch from, inhaling spores of it. So, didn't know he was sick until he got really, really ill in December. Started going to the bathroom, blood in his urine, and basically lost all energy. And one day just kind of flopped over, playing with his friends, and sat down. Just didn't want to do anything. So it turned out he had some nodules in his lungs. It was the fungus and his immune system kind of working together to create those, and it was also infecting his prostate. It was literally killing him from the inside. So this cute little guy was feeling like garbage during that time. He ended up being in the hospital for a week over Christmas on the IV fluids, and he had to start an antifungal medication. Royce, come. Called Spornox. So some of you may be familiar with that if you're familiar with fungal diseases. So he had to be on the Spornox for quite some time, and it was quite the roller coaster with it. In the beginning, he had all kinds of fevers, and he had sort of really, really bad days. So yeah, I mean, he was really, really sick. It was up and down in the beginning, fevers, not eating, tummy troubles. It was such a struggle with us to get him to do anything, really. He just wanted to sleep most of the day. He just wasn't himself. The dog that used to rip around the woods, do 10-kilometer hikes, he just was no more. He really, really, really wasn't into it. And wasn't even into playing with his friends, which was really, really weird. This is a dog that adores playing with his buddies. So it was really heartbreaking to see. And it was really the first, month or so of treatment. He was just completely blotto, completely couldn't do anything. Well, there's more work. People have been in here doing some work, clearing up these trails. Way different than when I was in here last. Bugs are pretty bad today, holy. In the second month and the third month in treatment, I mean, you get a little bit better here, a little bit better there. I started to notice him wanting to, play a little bit more, a little bit longer play times. And I thought, oh, okay, this is really good. He's kind of getting back on track. But yeah, we avoided the cabin for a while in the winter because it was too cold, and he'd lost so much weight. He was originally 80 pounds at the time. He'd gone down to 71 pounds at the height of his illness because of not eating, and just the way the illness was just, his muscles were just peeling off his body. He was like a skeleton. You'd take him outside, or have him inside. He'd try to scratch the ground when he goes to the bathroom like they always do, and he literally, fell over one day, just literally flopped over. Couldn't quite do it. Didn't even have strength to chew on his dog bones and stuff like that. That was crazy. He just had like 2 little bites, and he just put it down. Didn't want to deal with it. So as the months went on, he started getting more and more energy. I started to see his silliness come back. Just him being really playful. He was monitored throughout the whole course of the illness. And with the disease, they have, that's like big time effects on their entire organ system. And so for a long time, he actually had a low red blood cell count and low blood protein levels, just because of the effects the fungus had on his body. So that didn't help him with his tiredness and stuff like that, and his, being winded and everything like that, because he just, didn't have the stamina. When we did go to the cabin in the winter, I would do a little like lung physiotherapy with him. I would take out the snowmobile a little bit, and we do like short little intervals where he could kind of ramp up a little bit, do a little bit of jog behind me, really slowly, just to kind of keep those muscles and toned, and to kind of help expand his lung capacity. Now his lungs weren't really bad. I wouldn't advise that, obviously, if your pet had a ton of lung involvement. He had a bit of lung involvement, but it wasn't extreme. So I did a little bit of lung physio just to his tolerance, really, just to try to keep him. So I don't want him to have these big scarred up lungs, because I mean certainly that can happen. Take a look behind me. Lots of damage in here, actually, where I'm walking right now. So I did a little bit of that, and just lengthening his walks a little bit here, a little bit there. I really wanted this year to use my new little sled that I had. I wanted him to kind of pull it, but that was not feasible given his illness, so I really didn't want to like torture the poor thing with that. He had no stamina to do that. So at about 3 months into the illness, I had his fungus levels checked, and you check it in their pee. It's a really easy way to check for it. And that was sent off to a lab in the States, actually, in Indiana. They specialize in fungus testing. Highly recommend Mira Vista Lab if you guys have pets with blastomycosis or fungal diseases. They are awesome. Really quick with the results, and yeah, couldn't be happier that they were involved with his care. Yeah, basically his levels came back. Well, originally his levels were about 7.6 on a scale of 0 to like 14 or something, if I recall. And they went down to, I think, 0.7 was that level. So I was super pumped, really excited that we were nearing the finish line. And I could tell, like you just tell he was so much better, and his levels were probably really low. So I decided, the medication itself is really expensive. Like, it's about 200 Canadian a month for his meds. Big shout out to Fetch Pet Insurance for covering 90% of his costs. I highly recommend pet insurance. So I just decided to maybe test him like again 1 month later, because I figured we're pretty much near 0. Tested him again a month later, and I think he was down to 0.4, and I was like, come on, we're so close. I thought for sure he'd be at 0, and then we could kind of finish up his treatment. Not so much. So I decided to treat him a couple more months. Just not be obsessive about checking those levels, because he seemed to be doing better and better. I wasn't really worried about it. So here we are at the 6-month mark. Got everything checked again, and lo and behold, his levels on his blood work were good. So he no longer had low red blood cells. His proteins were normal. And originally, he had signs of infection in the bloodstream, and that was no longer there. So that was good. So I'm thinking it's gonna be good. So got his blastomycosis urine sample back, and officially end of June, he is negative. So, oh my God, what a relief. That was the best news overall, that, really he's clear of it. Now we have to treat him 1 more month, so we're just finishing up that, and then stop the treatment and check again and make sure he's still negative after treating an extra month, just to be 100%. Because literally the last thing I want right now is to stop prematurely after we've come so far, like 6 months of treatment. We've got him negative, and I want to keep it that way. Wow. Just stopping to enjoy the view. It's quite different in here, very open now. Hey Royce, what do you think about all this? So yeah, he's up to 92 pounds now, feeling great. He's not a fan of the summer, of course. He's a little bit slow in the summertime, but feeling great. Now, the way forward. It's been such a humid and wet summer and spring so far. Everything's so lush. We had all these storms and weather and things like that. It gets me paranoid for recurrences of the blastomycosis. As you guys know from my previous video when I discussed about the fungi, it loves wet conditions, it loves sandy conditions, it loves, oh boy, he's stalking a chipmunk. Do not take me for a tour. You have to be on a leash in here. There's all these chippies and stuff in here. His favorite to chase. So blastomycosis fungus loves, dampness. It likes, sandy soils. It likes being near waterways. All the places that Royce and I kind of go to We love hiking around in the woods, exploring, and that's where he picked it up. No, we leave it. So I do have a big worry that he can reinfect. They have absolutely no immunity from this fungus, even though their body has been through a lot and has, their immune system has seen it. There's no vaccine for it. There's no way to prevent it. No way to even figure out where he got it. Very, very hard. You can't see it. It's invisible. It's microscopic. So it's not like, he stepped in a puffball and all the spores kind of went up his nose or something like that. It lives in soil and detritus, rotting wood. And it seems to be kind of in pocketed areas, especially around Great Lakes, areas where there's rivers and creeks. A lot of pets that get it are in these areas. And with climate change, it's going to kind of happen in, other regions, I'm sure, that never experienced these problems before. Around the same time he got sick, there was a huge outbreak in Northern Ontario. A lot of people got sick, many died. It was just awful. And I'm grateful for you guys that reached out to me, that told me stories about your pets with it, to give me some hope. And also to share your stories with me. I had a few people in the comments mention they had it or had a family member that had Blasto and what it was like. And oh my God, it made me so sad to know what he went through and you guys went through. It's just an awful illness, and it can make you just so devastating. And some people and some animals have to be on treatment their whole lives sometimes, depending on if it gets walled off somewhere in the body and you can't get rid of it. So, I mean, some pets I've heard had to stay on 3 times a week on the Sporanox to prevent recurrence over their life, and I hope to God we're not in that scenario. I don't know. I can only just keep checking him again and again, and just sort of try to not let him dig holes. There's certain areas in the cabin where I knew he had dug some holes, and now I'm wondering, is that where the little pocket of it was? I don't know. So we'll have to be really, really careful. Well, that's our little update, our little 6-month update of Blasto. We're hopefully done with it. I'm really, really hoping that we are. I really want to thank you guys for your support throughout this whole ordeal. I know you guys have been awesome subscribers. Royce appreciates all the good wishes and candlelighting you guys did, early on in his illness, and continuing to send us your supportive messages. We really, really appreciate it. So if you guys have any questions down below in the comments or have your stories to share, don't hesitate to leave them down below in the comments. I hope you guys have a great week as always. Take care. Bye for now.